The pharmaceutical industry, often lauded for its groundbreaking innovations and life-saving treatments, has a darker side that remains shrouded in secrecy. While many believe this industry is driven by a mission to heal, the reality is often far more complex and at times troubling. Behind the scenes, pharmaceutical companies have been known to engage in practices that prioritize profit over patient welfare, leading to serious ethical and health implications. One of the most alarming practices in the pharmaceutical industry is the manipulation of clinical trials. Clinical trials are supposed to be the gold standard for determining the safety and efficacy of new drugs. However, many pharmaceutical companies have been caught cherry-picking data, suppressing negative results, and even ghostwriting scientific papers to present their products in the best possible light. In some cases, drugs that showed significant adverse effects in trials were still brought to market, endangering the lives of patients who trusted these medications. Take, for instance, the case of Vioxx, a painkiller produced by Merck. Initially hailed as a breakthrough in pain management, Vioxx was later found to significantly increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Despite evidence of these risks, Merck continued to market Vioxx aggressively, resulting in an estimated 88,000 to 140,000 cases of serious heart disease. It wasn't until 2004, after years of denial and cover-ups, that Vioxx was finally pulled from the market. This scandal not only highlighted the lengths to which a pharmaceutical company would go to protect its profits, but also exposed the failures of regulatory bodies to safeguard public health. The influence of pharmaceutical companies extends beyond clinical trials to the realm of medical education and practice. Big Pharma spends billions of dollars each year on marketing, targeting not just consumers, but also healthcare professionals. This marketing takes many forms, from funding continuing medical education, CME programs, to providing free samples and lavish gifts to doctors. Such practices create conflicts of interest that can compromise the integrity of medical advice and lead to overprescription or inappropriate use of medications. For example, opioid painkillers were once considered a last resort for chronic pain management due to their high potential for addiction. However, in the late 1990s, pharmaceutical companies like Purdue Pharma began aggressively marketing opioids as safe and effective for long-term use. This campaign included misleading advertisements, sponsored research, and financial incentives for doctors. As a result, opioid prescriptions soared, leading to a devastating addiction crisis that has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. It wasn't until the crisis reached epidemic proportions that the deceptive practices of opioid manufacturers were brought to light, resulting in numerous lawsuits and significant financial penalties. Another concerning aspect of the pharmaceutical industry is the practice of patent manipulation, also known as evergreening. Patents are meant to reward innovation by granting companies exclusive rights to sell new drugs for a limited time. However, many pharmaceutical companies exploit loopholes in patent laws to extend their monopolies beyond the intended period. This is often done by making minor modifications to existing drugs, such as changing the formulation or delivery method, and then filing for new patents on these new versions. This practice not only stifles competition, but also keeps drug prices artificially high, making essential medications unaffordable for many patients. Consider the case of insulin, a life-saving medication for millions of diabetics. Despite being discovered over a century ago, the cost of insulin has skyrocketed in recent years. This is largely due to the evergreening tactics employed by insulin manufacturers, who have made incremental changes to their products and secured new patents to block generic competition. As a result, patients in need of insulin are often forced to pay exorbitant prices, leading to tragic stories of individuals rationing their medication or going without it altogether. Furthermore, the global reach of pharmaceutical companies allows them to engage in exploitative practices in developing countries. In these regions, regulatory oversight is often weaker, and companies can take advantage of vulnerable populations to conduct clinical trials or sell substandard medications. There have been numerous reports of unethical clinical trials conducted without proper informed consent, where participants were not fully aware of the risks involved. In some cases, these trials resulted in severe health complications or even death. One notorious example is the case of the drug Trovan, an antibiotic developed by Pfizer. In 1996, during a meningitis epidemic in Nigeria, Pfizer conducted a clinical trial of Trovan on children without obtaining proper consent from their parents. The trial resulted in multiple deaths and severe side effects, leading to a protracted legal battle and a significant blow to Pfizer's reputation. This case underscored the ethical lapses that can occur when profit-driven companies operate in environments with lax regulatory frameworks. In addition to these troubling practices, the pharmaceutical industry is also known for its aggressive lobbying efforts. Big Pharma spends vast sums of money to influence lawmakers and regulators, shaping policies that favor their interests. This lobbying power has led to the implementation of laws and regulations that protect the profitability of pharmaceutical companies at the expense of public health. For instance, the Medicare Modernization Act of 2003, which prohibited Medicare from negotiating drug prices, has been a boon for the industry, allowing drug prices to remain high while burdening taxpayers and patients. Moreover, the revolving door between regulatory agencies and the pharmaceutical industry further complicates matters. Many officials who work for agencies like the FDA eventually take high-paying jobs within the industry they once regulated, creating potential conflicts of interest. This revolving door can undermine the impartiality of regulatory decisions and erode public trust in the safety and efficacy of medications. Despite these issues, it is important to acknowledge the vital role that pharmaceutical companies play in advancing medical science and improving public health. The development of new drugs and treatments has saved countless lives and alleviated suffering for millions. However, the pursuit of profit should not come at the expense of ethical standards and patient safety. There is a pressing need for greater transparency, stronger regulatory oversight, and more robust ethical guidelines to ensure that the pharmaceutical industry operates in a manner that truly serves the public good. In conclusion, the pharmaceutical industry, while responsible for many medical advancements, has a history of engaging in practices that prioritize profit over patient welfare. From manipulating clinical trials and influencing medical practice to patent manipulation and exploitative practices in developing countries, the industry's actions have often led to serious ethical and health implications. To protect public health and restore trust, it is crucial to implement reforms that promote transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct in the pharmaceutical industry.